The Fear of Failing and the Importance of Resilience. I'm April Rodriguez, and first and foremost, I wanted to thank everybody who's been listening to my Instagram stories, who's been responding and reacting, people who write to me. I'm just so thankful for everyone who supports this tarot journey that I'm on. I really appreciate it. Before I start, I wanted to introduce myself a little bit. Like I said, my name is April Rodriguez. I have been doing tarot for, I'd say, about 12 to 15 years now. My cousin Christine and I got our first deck when I was in my 20s and would do it at first in secret in her room because we had a really religious family and we didn't want to disappoint. You know, our grandma had pictures of Jesus all over the walls. I mean, her room was full of pictures of Jesus just everywhere. So, you know, and she was such a special person to both of us. She was just amazing and generous and kind and sweet, the kind of grandma that you wanted to go over her house all the time. She made the best food. She was just so generous to everyone. She made people feel really welcomed and like they were okay, you know, even if they made mistakes and stuff like that. So disappointing her was just something you definitely didn't want to do. So we would do it in secret a lot because it was important to us and it made us feel, you know, normal and like we had a place, definitely. We started doing them in her room and we were just always in awe. Like, I couldn't believe how accurate these cards were. It wasn't like they ever told us the future or what was going to happen to us. They just told us what we were going through and how to deal with it and how to process feelings and thoughts and emotions and letting us know that we weren't alone. And that really got me into it because my grandma, like I said, she was really nice and generous, but she was also schizophrenic and she had multiple personalities. So she had gone through a lot and had been through a lot. And because of that, I wanted to help kids who were like her, who had multiple personalities, were schizophrenic. So I wanted to be a psychologist growing up and pursued a degree in psychology at UC Santa Cruz. Tarot has been a really great outlet for me and my psychology. It's been a really great way to combine the two and really, it's really fulfilling to me. And that being said, I just wanted to share that, you know, as a tarot reader, me personally, I'm not able to predict the future, but I am able to help you go through whatever it is you're going through and help you work through the feelings. I like to consider myself like someone who's trying to help you untangle all these thoughts and emotions and all these things that are going on inside you that you may not want to deal with, kind of like a dirty closet. You know, I'm here to help you kind of clean it up and make sense of it all. That being said, this is my first podcast. I'm really excited. I was a little nervous to do this because I had been out for so long working on Love Gallery, you know, not just working on decorations and getting the event together, but also working on my own artwork and helping the other artists as well as my partner Anthony. So there was just a lot going on and there wasn't even time for my own spirituality, but I was okay because, you know, helping others really makes me feel good and makes me happy and you know, working on my art is a form of spirituality to me. So it wasn't that I wasn't working on it. It was just that I had a different outlet for it. Coming back to doing the readings was kind of hard for me. On my personal Instagram, I used to do readings where I just kind of type it out and put it out for everyone to read. And that was kind of easy for me. I've always been kind of shy. So putting my face out wasn't always, you know, something I really wanted to do. But being able to still give guidance through the words was a lot of fun, but I wasn't always able to keep it up on a daily basis like a lot of these really awesome tarot readers and psychics and mystics that I see out there now. So after being away for a while, I was a little bit scared to come back. You know, it's easy to look at those periods of time where you're not keeping up on your social media as kind of like a failing, which is silly, right? Because it's social media. It's supposed to be kind of a fun, lighthearted thing. But for someone who's trying to put themselves out there or trying to do their artwork or their business or whatever, taking small gaps can feel like, oh, a failure. Like people are going to be like, oh, I don't want to pay attention. You haven't been around or, you know, but it's not. Failure is necessary for success. Without it, you wouldn't have the stepping stones. It's what you build on. When you fail, you learn a lot and you're able to go on the next time and go off of what you learned and do better the next time. When I was doing the events, the home gallery events, I can't tell you how many times I'd come home crying after each event, just, feeling like a failure, like I didn't do enough or wasn't good enough. But then I'd have people come up to me the next day or a week later and tell me how thankful they were for it, for the opportunity, and how much fun they had, and how great and everything. And I'm just kind of dumbfounded, like, what, really? I didn't see it that way. Our failures aren't always failures. They mostly are just failures in our own eyes, and we're really the only one that's holding ourselves back from these really awesome things. When I was a teacher, there was this poster up on the wall about Michael Jordan and how he missed all these shots and how he lost all these games and how he failed and failed and failed and failed and failed, but is now one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And that shows the importance of resilience, which is the ability to keep going after hardships and after defeat and after things just don't work out. One of my favorite examples is learning to walk. When we're kids, we're born not knowing how to walk, and we have to learn. And it's hard, and we fall, and we stumble, and even when we learn, we still trip. And even now, as an adult, I still trip and fall, So it's not a perfect process. It's just a constant going again and trying again and working harder and keep going at it. And some people do so well that they're amazing runners and jumpers and parkour, and there's all these awesome things that you can do once you've built on that. So our foundations often lie a lot of times in failure, but not just failure and then fixing the mistakes and then trying again and then building and building and building and building and building. If you're feeling like you've failed or you're feeling like you should just give up, I'm here to remind you not to. Keep trying. If you're working towards something that you're passionate about, if you're working towards something that you love, a dream, a goal, something you've put a lot of heart into, don't give up. Those failures are just what you build on. Those failures are what bring you to the top, If you start to feel stressed out, one of the things that helps me most is to just take a deep breath. When we're stressed out, we can't think straight. Our mind is clouded and we do things frantically. Even if you feel like people are waiting on you, even if you feel like people are looking at you, don't worry about them. The only one you have to worry about is yourself. So you take your deep breath, you let yourself come back to your calm again, and then you get to it, because that's when you're able to think clearly and do your best. On the topic of failing, it's funny, like I said, the cards always know. They always know what's going on, and they're always here to help and give you great advice. So what I'm hoping to do with the podcast also is do a weekly reading. So I'll do a card pull and tell you what the theme is for the week and hopefully give you some information that'll help you make it through this week a little bit easier. This week I pulled the Eight of Cups reversed and the Mother of Pentacles. Upright shows someone walking away from a really disappointing situation, something that doesn't feel emotionally fulfilling. They feel like they've been hoodwinked, or they've put a bunch of effort into something that no longer works or amounted to nothing. So they definitely feel a little disappointed after it, but it is a reminder that was probably not for them anyways. When it's reversed, it shows a little bit more indecision than that. It shows the kind of situation that's, should I stay or should I go? I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to be and this is just a difficult time in that, or if this really just isn't for me. It's kind of like a grass is greener situation. Am I just looking to where the grass is greener, or do I need to just water my own grass? Ultimately, though, with this card, it's asking you to listen to your heart, because ultimately only you know what you really want and what works best for you. Listening to yourself and asking yourself, what are my dreams? What do I want? What is going to be best for me? And then how can I align what I'm doing every day with that goal or dream? The other card I picked was the Mother of Pentacles. And the Mother of Pentacles is a great card. It shows someone who has achieved this level of security and prosperity, a life full of calm, balance, peace. When I look at the two cards together, I see someone who's at a crossroads. They're not feeling emotionally fulfilled and aren't sure if it's because it's just a bump in the road, or is the situation not meant for me? With the Mother of Pentacles, I see ultimately satisfaction, happiness, but only if you're following your heart, only if you're following your intuition and what feels right to you. And I know that can be such an incredibly difficult thing to do, especially with all of these things we constantly have to do every day, all of these chores, all of the responsibilities, all of our friends and loved ones to worry about, all of the projects we want to do. Our goals and dreams can really get lost in all of that. So it's really important to take time for ourselves to think about those things and make small steps in those directions. My suggestion this week is to first the whole thing should take maybe about 15-20 minutes most. First, find a quiet space for yourself to just sit. It doesn't have to be on the floor, doesn't have to be even sitting down. Actually, you could lay down if you wanted to, but you're just kind of finding a place for you and your body to feel comfortable and safe and secure and not get too distracted. So you're going to practice a little bit of meditation. And I know sometimes meditation can seem like a scary thing or like not frustrating, but it can seem very overwhelming sometimes, I think, if you don't really know what it is. So my suggestion is to sit and focus on your breath first. Start by taking deep inhales, and you can count to kind of help you focus on it. You can count inhaling for 1, 2, 3, and then exhaling for 1, 2, 3 to kind of keep your breath calm and even as you do it. Now, doing this will help you to take your attention and your focus off of your thoughts, off of external sources, because that's where our attention usually is, right? We put our attention on our thoughts, what we're thinking of, what we have to do today, all the emotional stuff, something someone told us. And you're not going to focus it on the outside world either. The airplane going by, the neighbors talking, the dogs, the kids. You're going to turn it inward, but in a way that's not worrying, that's not anxious. Just kind of a relieving, relaxing place. And you're going to try to do that for 5 minutes. So that way, 5 minutes isn't too long. It's just a long enough time to give your brain a chance to relax and relieve itself from all the stresses. You can set a timer for yourself on your phone to kind of help you if you want, or you can just wait till you feel like you've relaxed enough. Once you've done that, if you have a journal, I would take that out. If you don't, you can just write on a piece of paper or on your phone or wherever you have a little space to write. Take a few minutes to think about what you might want people to think about you after you've passed away. I know it's a little morbid, but it's okay. We're trying to think of our life as a whole. At the end of your life, what do you want people to say and to think about you? For me personally, I always want people to think about me as being helpful and generous and considerate and kind. I want to be an important part of my community, of building my community. And I want to be an awesome mom, loving, kind, thoughtful, supportive, a good partner, someone who's always there. And I try to think about that. And that's what really helped push me into home gallery. That's what helped push me into doing Young Mystic. And that's what helps push me into doing my art. Thinking about what I want in the end. Like I said, it's so easy to get lost in just the fact that we have to eat and work and put gas in the car and pay the bills, that it's hard to push for those bigger things that really make us feel happy and give us a sense of purpose. But those things are oh so important in our lives. So again, 5 minutes of meditation and a little journaling just to kind of see what your end goal is. And once you see what your end goal is, you can kind of start to work towards it backwards. See what steps you might need to take to get to that point. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you again for all your support and love. I really appreciate it. I hope that you like this podcast. I'm really excited to start it. I can't wait to see what comes in the future. And I hope you guys have a great week. Again, please feel free to comment on the Instagram, comment on YouTube. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want people to think about you once you've passed and how you're going to start working towards your goals. I'd love to hear your stories. All right, guys, have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.